No, it's a bit like saying should cars look like cart and horses? It's very difficult for organisations and for individuals within organisations to deal with new technology. Any change is difficult for human beings, and a change that's as dramatic and as radical as going from a very familiar pen and paper to technology is obviously at the kind of really difficult end of that scale. But if you don't do that, if you don't make that leap, you miss out on a considerable number of the benefits that you've got. Mirroring the paper system, of course, brings the difficulty that you might be mirroring the paper errors. So no, I think you've got to bite the bullet. And if you look at the generational difference between people like my age and people of the age of new JMOs, they're the iPhone generation. They're used to technology. They're used to it. They might find it a bit difficult to begin with, but they'll slip into patterns of use very quickly. So no, I'm firmly against mirroring the paper system. It's the old-fashioned way, and I don't think it brings any benefit.
The electronic medicine management system, they're all tools. It's about business transformation and re-engineering the process, and I don't believe it's about replicating what we've got currently. We want to make our processes in healthcare safer and quality orientated, and to do that we really have to think about what we're doing, why we're doing it now, and how we can use an electronic tool to enable us to do that better. That has some challenges. People are used to the status quo.
Yep.
They want to keep the same. It's comfortable, and part of that is bringing in the clinical leadership to enable that business transformation and get people to understand that the tools will make their job a lot easier if we can change what they currently do. And there was a great example shown today. She was talking about the fact that people who use MedChart as an example were stopping a drug and then re-prescribing it because they thought they had to adjust the dose that way. Now, that's what actually happens in the paper world, and we put in that safety workaround because we didn't want people changing a dose on the paper and then someone misreading it because it gets illegible, it gets messy. But in an electronic process, we can actually alter the dose. So it's about that clinical leadership.
Just because we've been doing things in a certain way for a long time doesn't mean that that's really the best way to do things. And I think when we introduce electronic systems, we have to think about the changes that the impact they can have on work practices, and some of those will be negative and some of those will also be positive. And if we're improving efficiency of work, for example, and that forces people to do things in different ways, this is kind of balance, I guess, between designing systems which are consistent with the way that we've always done things, or really harnessing the advantage of technology and retraining people to do things in different ways. And I think for some things, retraining is a really good idea, and for other things, maybe being more consistent is a good idea. So I think we're still
it's a balance.
It's a balance, yeah, and it's very, very tricky. And I think for some things it works, and for others it doesn't.